Our next speaker is right behind me. It's Recchia, who heads up the Fundy North Fishermen's Association, and she will speak to us about the importance of science on the fishing industry.
Thank you. So I work for the Fundy North Fishermen's Association, and we represent the small boat inshore fishermen from Alma to St. Stephen, including Campobello and Deer Island. The majority of our fishermen are fishing. It's a real family business. You know, they've been fishing for generations. It's grandfathers, fathers, sons, nephews, wives, daughters, all fishing together on the boats. And probably the #1 priority for our fishermen is that there is a healthy marine ecosystem for them to fish and for their future generations to fish. That's their #1 concern. And do they care about science? They care a lot about science. And truthfully, the scientists that we've been engaged with the most, especially in recent years, are exactly those scientists whose positions are being cut. It's the scientists who work on pollution, on contaminants, on the impacts of heavy industry in the marine environment. Those are the people we're most engaged with, and those are our biggest concerns. When I saw Janice Harvey today, when we first walked in, she said, "So what's going on in your office?" What's going on in our office are government cuts. Government cuts and new and developing heavy industry in the marine environment. That's what we're doing most of the time, a lot more than 40 hours a week. So these cuts are meaning to us a lot more work on community groups such as ours, work that we're not qualified to do, and that's a big challenge. I'm totally off my speaking notes, which always seems to happen, but that's okay. So I'd like to say that, you know, I wish it was the case that the only things that go on in the marine environment are things that maintain the health of the ecosystem, but that's not the case. There's a lot of new industries on the horizon that we're going to have to deal with without the scientists to assess, the government scientists, to assess whether these industries are safe and then to monitor them as they go along. And that's just puts a lot of fear into the hearts of our fishermen who want to see their children fishing and their children's children. The fishing industry is a huge employer in our region. A lot of our coastal communities, the fishing industry is a #1 source of employment. A lot of the revenue stays right in the communities, and that's really important as well. It's all family business. So it means an awful lot to this area that we have a healthy fishery. And I'm not sure that we will in the long term if we don't have people monitoring it. As Karen Kidd said so well, what do we do when we find dead lobsters like we did in the fall of 2009? Where did those lobsters go? They went into the labs of the people whose jobs are being cut, the people here at the biological station, the people in Moncton and Environment Canada. They were the ones on the front line. They were the ones who dropped everything and figured out what had killed the lobsters. They're the ones who were looking at some of the toxic substances that are being used or proposed to be used in the marine environment to make sure that that they are going to be safe and we're not going to see lasting consequences like we did with things like DDT. And God forbid there's an oil spill in this area. What will we do then? I mean, that's going to mean devastation, I know, for the people that I work for, and I suspect our coastal communities in general are going to see, you know, great misfortune if something like that happens. And we'll have no one to work on it. I just want to say, I don't want to speak too long because there's a lot of us here, but I just want to say another word about the library. We've used the library quite a bit. We've looked at documents that are 100 years old and have been very relevant to us today. a group like ours, a small community group without real academics working for us, we don't have access to virtual libraries or internet libraries or libraries in universities somewhere else. But we've had access here, and it's been really important to us and helped us educate ourselves so that we can address some of these issues. So I would say with all of these government cuts, the inshore fishermen are feeling a bit lonely, a bit scared, and we're really happy to see that so many other people are caring about this as well, and I hope people will speak out as much as you can so that we can try to avoid some of this. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Maria.